Children will break you, folks. They will. They will. And I know you're all waiting for it. You're going, when does Noel stop the fucking happy clappy, I'm happy to be a dad? And when does he start admitting that he's suffering? That day is today. I recorded 10 minutes of the show, and I said, this is fucking terrible. And here's the thing. I slept 6 hours last night, so I should be fine. But in all reality, guys, today's episode, by the way, it's Wednesday. So if you are an avid consumer of this channel, you know Wednesday is a podcast. And if you're new to the channel, welcome. We've been having a lot of newbies. We've been having some newbies. Shout out to you. Wednesdays are for podcasts. This is an episode of my lovely show called The Company Lot. Welcome. Welcome to the broadcast, folks. Now, I am broken. Let's make it clear. I'm a physically broken man. I've been going nonstop, and I don't think I've had a chance to say it. Big shout out to everyone that signed up to TMG Studios last month and supported the short film. Thank you. We've seen your support, and it is welcome big time. Thank you. Of course, if you haven't seen it, please go watch it. Also, I think some people misunderstood. When you sign up to TMG Studios, you get everything. You get this show ad-free, all our shows ad-free, and the short film. And it wasn't just for the short film, but I digress. Also, everyone that came out to the Canada shows, thank you as well. They were amazing. I was just in Winnipeg. Shout out to the nuclear north that is Winnipeg. Holy shit, you guys are living. You're living on Hoth. I've never made I don't make Star Wars jokes often, but that's where you're at. Siberian tundra shit, dude. Winnipeg, it's cold to your bones. It's chill in your bones. It's the type of loneliness you feel as a parent. It's the darkness you feel as a parent when you're going, holy fuck, it's just this forever. I make no mistake, me and Alina, we love the kid. The kid, oh my God, bro. He's been walking since like 9 months. Most physical, this dude hits 6:30 a.m. and it's straight to running. Straight to running, bro. And it's that till 8 p.m. The kid is a machine. This kid, you know, he's so up and at it, like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe he needs a little CTE. I don't know. Maybe we got to put him in football just to slow shit down a little bit. Just to fucking, let's chill it out just a little bit. I'm honestly, guys, I want to get into the isms and the issues like I normally do, but I am fucking running on fumes, guys. Very excited. I'm filming my next hour next week, next hour of stand-up. I hesitate to use the word special. That has lost meaning. But yeah, I'll be filming my next hour in Philly. We're just doing 3 shows. We did 4 last time. It was too much. Didn't need all that footage. Yeah, Monday show. I think it might be sold out now. I think it's only got a few tickets left. It was like 5 or 4 or some shit. And then the Tuesday early show, that's almost gone. We added a late show, so if you want to pull up and see the hour before it's released, please come out. I have a few U.S. dates as well, I think. Florida. I got 2 in Florida. I'm ending in Atlanta. Never finished a tour in Atlanta, so that should be a good time. And then who knows if I'm back on the road, guys. The government has turned back on, so airplanes are working again. We just had to unplug the router and plug it back in. That's all we needed to do. I see some opinions on why the government was shut down. One perception I saw was that Democrats were kind of planting their feet because they're trying to regain their base and show people that they're not going to back down to the other side, and that seemed to do well for them. I haven't been reading many politics. I've just been trying to stay awake. There's a couple things that I've been reading about in the last few days that I want to get into momentarily, but airplanes are seemingly going to be okay. I'll tell you this, man. I was fairly inebriated watching a TikTok of a flight attendant talking about, y'all don't want to be flying right now. And this is good material to watch right before you're getting on a plane, but even better is being on the plane, looking up why the UPS plane crashed a few weeks ago. This flight attendant was scaring me, going, "What, y'all, we don't have no mechanics." Not true. Not 100% a true statement, but nonetheless, I'm believing her because I'm high and I'm scared in my hotel room. Y'all don't want to be flying right now. We ain't got no mechanics. They're putting engines on these planes that are powered by canola oil because they can't get the standard aviation mechanics to work on the planes. And I'm greening out hours before I'm getting on a flight. And on takeoff, all I'm thinking is, man, I hope they put all the bolts in this shit. Please, Lord, have all 4 propellers in this hoe. I need to get back. I don't know, the way the government shutdown was going, I thought that we were going to walk up to the gate and they're going to have, they're going to have, like, single propeller biplanes, Hey, y'all, because of the government shutdown, we can't afford to run no Boeing, so we had to wheel these out. So each of y'all has got an individual flight time. We're going to take the next 5 days to get half of y'all to Tennessee, and the rest of y'all just going to have to walk, or we actually, Delta has gone. They've reached deep into their inventory. We have horse-drawn carriages. We have a train of 15 right now. We can get y'all to Tennessee in about 22 days. There will be no stops if you want to stay on course. So it's really up to you. You can wait for the lottery to take the plane, or y'all can just get on the horse-drawn carriage now. Y'all will get to your destination eventually. We're really sorry about the inconvenience. We will give you 600 points on your Delta cards, and you will get 500 miles. That will be good for Wi-Fi. That'll be good for 50% off of Wi-Fi on your next commercial flight, if those ever come back. Thank you. Part of me was thinking because all the flights are getting canceled, that you might show up to an airport and just there's no planes, and everyone with their palms up. Well, I don't know what it is. I'm getting very familiar with hotel brands. I'm blanking on the one, but gosh, this one, they use a lot of wood paneling. It honestly looks like an LA podcast studio on the inside. They got snacks, bags of chips that are 5 years old in the lobby. We walked into one of these. They had the board game Sorry available. You know what? It's hitting me now. Oh, man, it's hitting me now. And this tells you how delirious I am. I'm tired that this is so damn funny. A Canadian hotel having the board game Sorry in the lobby. Sorry. That game must have been made for Canadians. Then they found out it's an American game, and it's about winning and gloating to the other players. Sorry. That's actually the tone of that game. But here were the Canucks in their youth buying that game, saying, "Oh yeah, I can't wait to apologize, eh? Oh, there's something that feels quite good about apologizing, no? Letting the other person know that you're aware of their presence. There's something really just sort of riveting and really quite, how do you say, enlightening about the word sorry, eh? You meet an American, and it's just you never get a sorry out of an American. Oh, absolutely not." These Canadians got sorry in the goddamn, and I'm saying these Canadians as if I'm technically not one. Your boy, that's a cool thing to say, right? At my grown ass age, to talk to you guys and say your boy was tapping in with where he grew up, sorta, kinda. Cause I never talked about it much, but I was born in Toronto, and I lived there for pockets of time, not pockets of time that I can remember. I think I was maybe alive there a couple years, and then I was out of that. And actually, I almost shredded my birth certificate on accident. I had a pile of just envelopes and bills and stuff that was for shred, because I shred my stuff because I'm paranoid and I've undiagnosed things going on in my mind. But I'm going to shred this stuff, and I pause to go do some other things, and then a few days went by, because that's kind of how it goes as a man. You set out on a task, and what do you know? 72 hours has passed, and then you have this wonderful experience of this woman who lives in your house, and she goes, "Hey, did you mean to finish doing that?" And you go, "Right. I think I did. I'll get to that later." And then a month goes by. And then the woman is not so nice this time. She goes, "Hey, dickhead, can you fucking finish shredding this shit?" And you go, "Yeah. I'm going to get to that later." Alina is so lovely. She goes to finish my shred at some point. And as she's going through my shred, she opens up an envelope and goes, "Hey, pal, this is your birth certificate." And had she not done that, I could have committed on paper suicide. Because apparently if you lose your birth certificate, you just never happened. That's my understanding of it. And you are gone from the system. You can't prove that you were born. So I have memories of Toronto. And I'm trying to find, and we drive past this sort of like apartment structure in downtown. And I'm like, that looks really, really familiar. It wasn't where I grew up. It reminded me of a place that I spent time in, but I kind of got around to, because, what happened was I lived in Toronto, I think, for maybe a year or two, and I have memories of being 2. And I think around 2 years old, I was living in Northridge, California, right before the massive earthquake. And I remember having, I actually, maybe I'm thinking I was 3. I remember my 4th birthday. It was at my house. There's some people there I didn't know. We did face paint. I'm getting a memory of a photo. I don't know where it's at, but it's me with face paint. I think I'm a lion. I remember when I went, this is how you knew I had a bit of toxic masculinity in my blood. I remember going to get the face paint because they hired the face paint lady for my party. And I remember feeling, I think they offered me, probably was like, "Do you want to be a cat? Do you want to be an octopus? And do you want to be a rabbit?" And I was like, all these fucking animals, it's kind of soft, man. I need something with some grit. I need something with teeth, something that bites. And so they made me a lion, but I think I ended up just looking like a cat. But I remember having this face paint, had a little party hat on. It was a cool birthday. I was very, very, oh man, now I'm remembering my favorite Nike shoes, man. The white Nikes, Velcro, black and orange colorway, hard as nails. But then, we had this huge earthquake, and I've told the story before, my parents thought I died. I think they were crossing their fingers. No, I'm just kidding. Oh man. They were freaking out. Our house gets destroyed, and then we go to Toronto. Yeah. So sorry. So I think we lived in Toronto for a couple years, and then I think it was 1 or 2 years in Northridge, California. And then we spent a summer back in Toronto, and that is the period I remembered. And so I'm kind of texting family, trying to figure out this place, and I finally figure out where it is. And the story is really going nowhere. There's no real humor to this, but I inevitably find this place where it was the day before my 5th birthday. And I look it up on Google Maps because there was no time to actually get over there. And I was like sitting looking at this apartment structure, and I'm getting these like crazy flashbacks. And I just kind of went down this spiral of this like feeling of being disconnected always from where you're from. And I think this has been like a major theme in my life, is I've always felt very disconnected from like where I'm from and what I am. And, you know, in that way, I think that's given my mind the ability to go to some weird places. Because I don't feel like beholden to many things. But it was cool to connect with that. Because at times I just like, I'll talk to people like, I grew up here and my parents this and my family that. And I don't always have the same, I can't always relate to that. So it was kind of cool to feel like I was connecting with my childhood. Because my childhood in ways felt definitely like all over the place. But this is not therapy, and I'm not looking for you guys to make me feel better about life. Really, I was just trying to kind of bring up that it was weird to, not be able to go to this place that's very nostalgic, but I could go there on Google Maps and, see that it was all different and see that it was not how I remember it. Because that's a fun dystopian idea. Anyways, sorry guys, been trying to reduce the ums. Been doing my best. My brain has not been on for the better half of a year. Been fighting with what I got. But I'm back online. Mentally. Folks, I have been wanting to do a video about transhumanism rather than doing a deep dive on transhumanism, because that's been done. There's plenty of videos where if you want like a really granular, nuanced breakdown of transhumanism, that stuff is readily available on YouTube. What I was having more fun doing, and by the way, let me read the definition of transhumanism just so we're all aligned here. Transhumanism is a philosophical and intellectual movement that advocates the enhancement of the human condition by developing and making widely available new and future technologies that can greatly enhance longevity, cognition, and well-being. This is Wikipedia. Transhumanist thinkers study the potential benefits and dangers of emerging technologies that could overcome fundamental human limitations, as well as the ethics of using such technologies, plural, excuse me. So robot dick, that's what this all comes down to. And that's not even me trying to be funny. If you go back on Reddit, because Reddit has a big transhumanism community. If you go back 6 or 7, 8, 9 years, I didn't even mean to do the, just happened. You go back, 7, 8 years on the posts on the transhumanism subreddit, you bet your ass some of the top voted posts are, time to get a robo-wiener. The story about a guy who, I don't know, had some socially fatal accident where he lost his penis, but then he got an 8-inch replacement penis, supposedly. I didn't even bother reading the article because whether it's real or not, who gives a shit? And I'm most certainly, I'm not willing to go under the knife for that kind of benefit. So, I just thought, why even bother? But obviously, a lot of the, I guess, instant reactions to transhumanism, when you're talking about enhancing your body with technology, I think the instant thought is crude versions of that shit, right? Get new legs, you're taller. Get a robo wiener, you got a big wiener. You got some robo cans, you got some huge, beautiful jugs that can perpetually supply breast milk. So whether you want to raise a child, but then you don't even need to raise a child because you can enhance your child. It kind of opens up a crazy world philosophically. Hey everybody, wardrobe change. We want to take a quick break to thank a sponsor of today's episode, Shopify. If you've shopped online, chances are you've bought from a business powered by Shopify. You know that purple Shop Pay button you see at checkout, the one that makes buying so incredibly easy? That's Shopify. And there's a reason so many businesses sell with it, because Shopify makes it incredibly easy to start and run your business. Shopify is the commerce platform behind 10% of all e-commerce in the U.S., from household names like Mattel and Gymshark to brands just getting started. Shopify gives you that leg up from day one with hundreds of beautiful ready-to-go templates to express your brand style, and forget about the code. Tackle all those important tasks in one place, from inventory to payments to analytics and more. Spread your brand's word with built-in marketing and email tools to find and keep new customers. And did I mention that iconic purple Shop Pay button that's used by millions of businesses around the world? I think I did, but if I didn't, it's why Shopify has the best converting checkout on the planet. Your customers already love it. If you want to see less carts being abandoned, it's time for you to head over to Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/companylot. Go to shopify.com/companylot. Shopify.com/companylot. Guys, as my tour is winding down, I want to start to get some more free time back. I've been searching the internet to find the best deal on concert tickets. By the way, you can see me in Canada and a few places in the States, which is why I also want to give a huge thank you to the sponsor of today's video, which is SeatGeek. With over 28 million downloads, SeatGeek is the #1 rated ticketing app. There are more than 70,000 events listed on SeatGeek, including concerts, sports, festivals, and more. Right now, you can get tickets to Tame Impala, Kenny G, and more. I might even try something new and grab some tickets to Dancing with the Stars live after finding a great deal on SeatGeek. Each ticket is rated on a scale of 1 to 10, so you know if you're getting a good deal. So look for the green dots. Green means good, red means bad. Plus, every ticket is backed by their buyer guarantee. So use my code Noel10 for 10% off your next set of tickets at SeatGeek. That's 10% off tickets with promo code Noel10. Make sure you click the link in the description to download the app and have the code automatically added to your account so you can use it later. Thank you, SeatGeek. And a guy who's sort of pushing these ideas, I think, into mainstream narrative is obviously the Mr. Big Bad Wonderful Peter Thiel, billionaire Peter Thiel. He's been talking about some transhumanist ideas, the Antichrist, things of that nature. But, you know, that's spawned a lot of new media talking about transhumanism and comparing how people speak about transhumanism now versus how it was 8 or 9 years ago. Let me tell you, man, if you go on this transhumanism subreddit, transhumanism was not what it is now. This sort of idea that is arguably being co-opted by facets of the Dark Enlightenment movement, and you can look into that on your own time. But transhumanism 7 or 8 years ago was literally epic Chungus moment, epic Redditor, might thou be transhumanist, milady? It is cringe shit, dude. It's not cool. And to think how those guys and gals and derps and derpinas now share a fat chunk of the middle in a Venn diagram with Peter Thiel is not where I would have imagined this would have landed, because, you know, you can imagine it almost a decade ago being like, wouldn't it be so epic if we were able to achieve transhumanism? Yeah, I would instantly download all kinds of ways to cook bacon in my mind. It would be so epic to know every Dragon Ball Z episode down to the word and be able to recall that at literally any moment. It was sort of maybe infantilized. Or idealist in ways. And on the subject of Mr. Thiel, before I get back into the epic Chungus moment, transhumanism, Peter Thiel is a very rich guy, obviously. He's put a lot of money into things to fuel the transhumanism concept, or I guess capabilities, right? He's invested in anti-aging, cryonics, and, you know, when you talk about like the future, I guess Peter Thiel, amongst others, you know, but in his mind specifically, he imagines a world where you can wake up and you've got a drawer full of body parts. You know, let's start with your sex organs. You can have a beautiful, lovely, voluptuous vagina one day, and you can have a big old hog another day. Then, if you want to humble yourself, you can walk around with a tiny Peter. And then maybe you get tired of the tiny Peter, and then you want to walk around with a lovely vajayjay packed full of bush. You don't need your Skims bush underwear anymore. You can apply it directly to one of your many vaginas that you have in the second drawer of whatever. And you can be taller one day, you can be strong one day, and you can have four, I don't know. Now I'm being hyperbolic, but he didn't say anything like this. But generally, I think his idea is that you can manipulate your body to whatever degree you imagine. Now, I would categorize that as maybe the crude interpretation of transhumanism, where you're physically replacing parts all the time. I think the more maybe subtle versions of that are genetic engineering, maybe like stem cells and things like that. And there are plenty of these companies now that are up and running. But now we're getting pretty saucy with how we surpass, the raw human existence. I don't want to get a copyright strike, but there is this clip from the BBC. It's about 5 or 6 years old. And it has this lovely kind of whimsical presentation of transhumanism. Or it's something to the tune of, transhumanism wants to imagine us beyond our Homo sapien bodies. Could you imagine? Human 2.0. That was the word they used. Human 2.0. And it just shows this clunky ass robot. As if the human body isn't an incredible feat of nature, an incredible piece of engineering. Even when you look at the structure of like cells and things like that. Insane work. And somehow we're supposed to supersede that. But you even see people making AI like stable diffusion videos. There's one on the transhumanism subreddit where it's displaying the progression of human to robot, right? And at that point, you could call into question a lot of things. What is existence? Shout out to our big studio manager at TMG Studios, Evan. He watched a lot of film, and he and I were talking about the new Alien series, and he brought up how the Alien series kind of invokes this question of what does it mean to be? Because in the Alien series, you had bionic humans, so humans that modified themselves, kind of like this, Peter Thiel idea. Then you had synthetics, which were full robotic bodies with the consciousness of a person put into them. And, some of the dialogue and the scenes invoke, again, what does it mean to be? But all this to say, all the ideas of transhumanism, even 10 years ago, that were maybe just not as tangible. Maybe they felt further away. It is kind of insane to see. And in some cases, you have people talking about things that just 5 or 6 years ago that I guess are like a lot more tangible now. And what I mean by that is the further exploration of like life extension. The big one is AI. A lot of people, were hard up on AI and mind uploading. I think that's the biggest one, where uploading your brain into a server, or uploading your consciousness, sounded sort of like a faraway concept. But I've been talking a lot about this brain organoid company, Final Spark, in Sweden. And that one, again, is essentially creating the matrix, where you have these, clusters of brain cells controlling virtual animals. And as far as those brain cells know, if they are even conscious, which I assume they probably are in some capacity, their consciousness is through a virtual space. And so I think transhumanism, I guess culturally, maybe a few years ago, maybe it's a movement, it's an idea, it's a dream. But I think very rapidly, what I personally feel is in the last few years, it has become a much more tangible, I keep using that word because I think that's the best way to describe it. It's become just more realized that, oh, wow, by the time you are 50 or 60, it is very, very reasonable that there would be infrastructure to support some of these things. And so if we're trying to be funny, guys, ask yourself, do you want to live in the server? Do you want to be uploaded to AWS? And then inevitably, when there's a big hack, They fucking... Because we've seen how it goes with the T app, guys. When there's a big hack and your entire life is leaked and downloaded, for who? I don't know. That's the thing is, if everyone lives in a data center, then when there's a data breach, who gives a shit, right? And maybe that's why they're trying to make us dumber so that we will accept going into the server. You will go into the server and live your crypto life. So then outside can be, it can rid of all of us. And we no longer have to yuck up the world. I think transhumanism is also fascinating because it opens up so many crazy, I guess, philosophical conclusions. Could you arrive philosophically through transhumanism? Like, could you arrive at a point where you're going, you know what? We should get brain chips and someone should make us stop fighting each other. That would be good for us. Does that start to happen? Maybe. Maybe not. I'll tell you this, whatever generation of American we are, we're a problem for this shit. They're going to have to... Actually, you know what? You know what's going to be really funny? Whatever implant that Apple comes up with, Apple still has enough cultural relevance that I think they could get people to put their Apple Watch in their head. I think they could do that. Imagine if you could just talk to Siri up here. Guy at work. Hey Siri, do I need to stand yet? No, Big Daddy, you don't have to stand yet. Hey Siri, you want to come on a walk with me? Big Daddy, I'd love to go on a walk with you. Because people, they already wear their Apple Watches like ankle monitors. That's how tech guys deal with the guilt of them destroying society and social contracts. They put themselves in a prison of data, and that's how they pay their penance. I want to take another break to thank another sponsor of today's episode, which is Factor. Fall is always a busy season. Between tireless routines, shorter days, and holiday obligations, finding time to cook can be tough when you're always on the go. That's why I love Factor. Their chef-prep, dietitian-approved meals make it easy to stay on track and enjoy something comforting and delicious, no matter how hectic fall gets. More variety, more meals. Choose from a wider selection of weekly meal options, including premium seafood choices like salmon and shrimp at no extra cost. Support your wellness goals. Enjoy even more GLP-1 friendly meals and new Mediterranean diet options packed with protein and good for you fats. Savor global flavors. For the first time, try Asian-inspired meals with bold flavors influenced by China, Thailand, and more. From more choices to better nutrition, that's why 97% of customers say that Factor helped them live a healthier life. Feel the difference, no matter your routine. I do really enjoy and appreciate Factor. I've gotten some great meals from them, and it's great that even though they're quick and easy to make, they still are oh so good. You can eat smart at factormeals.com/lot50off and use lot50off to get 50% off your first box plus free breakfast for 1 year. That's code lot50off at factormeals.com for 50% off your first box plus free breakfast for 1 year. Get delicious, ready-to-eat meals delivered with Factor. Offer only valid for new Factor customers with code and qualifying auto-renewing subscription purchase. Guys, it's time for one final thank you, Daddy. Thank you, Manscaped, for sponsoring this episode. It's time to talk about stepping up your grooming game. Yeah. The face shaving products from Manscaped are the ultimate grooming tools designed to deliver precision and comfort in sleek and easy-to-use devices. Whether you're looking for a trim, a shape, or a detailed touch-up, Manscaped face shaving products are built to handle shaving your face with ease. Crafted for efficiency and the perfect addition to your grooming arsenal. You can use my code LOT, L-O-T, for 15% off your entire order at manscaped.com. You guys know I like to switch up my look and facial hair. Sometimes I'm bald up top, sometimes I'm bald down below, and I'm not talking about my private parts, I'm talking about my happy trail. With a busy schedule, I don't have time to be meticulously grooming my face all the time, though, which is why when I heard about Manscaped's The Handyman, I was instantly interested in the Handyman because it's a sleek, powerful, compact face shaver that helps guys ditch the mess. Cordless and designed for convenience, it's the perfect shaver for guys like myself who are always on the go. It's a unique dual blade system that can handle up to 3 days of beard growth, which you know I'm very well known for. Plus, the Handyman comes equipped with skin-safe technology designed to help reduce nicks and cuts for the perfect clean shave. And if it couldn't get better, it's waterproof, which makes cleanup a breeze. Just give it a rinse and you're done. For guys constantly traveling like I am, the handyman is up to 60 minutes of runtime per charge, so you won't be scrambling to finish before the battery dies. There's also a low battery indicator light that will let you know when it's time to recharge. Whether you are a grooming newbie or a seasoned pro, the Handyman is the perfect upgrade to your grooming regimen, and the Rocket Man is a special edition colorway featuring gold and black. But there's limited quantities available in this colorway, so you'll need to act fast. Join the over 12 million men who trust Manscaped and upgrade to the Handyman Rocket Man. You can use code LOT for 15% off your entire order at manscaped.com. That's 15% off with free shipping with the code LOT at manscaped.com. Don't miss out. Upgrade your grooming game with Manscaped today. Transhumanism at its core is really, I think, only for the elite. Most people can't afford most of these things that you're talking about, short of using AI to like enhance your daily schedule. But, you know, bionic implants, genetic engineering, you know, there's people that biohack, but to me, taking pills and, doing cold water plunge regimens and stuff, that's not quite sort of transhumanist to me. I'm thinking in the more extreme sense, putting technology physically in your mind, physically changing who you are, reducing your percentage human from 100 to 95 to 90 and things of that nature. I guess on like when you're talking about like genetic engineering and even embryo engineering, that stuff is really expensive. Outside of IVF, when you're talking about some of these startups that we've covered, where you can genetically modify your baby. All that to say, most of it is very expensive to do. So naturally, that leads to, I guess you naturally kind of discover the other world if you just go looking for where money guys go put their money. And I was introduced to the idea of charter cities. And I had no clue about this. I go down the rabbit hole of a billionaire city in Honduras called Próspera. And I'm not going to pronounce it with the little accent they put on the O, because let me tell you, Próspera is through and through, that is cultureless rich people doing evil, dude. So let me tell you what Próspera is. There's a whole video by Yes Theory. They got invited to go there and they went there, and I've not finished the video yet. I'm very keen on doing so, but going there is not really the subject I'm even looking to crack into. Próspera, officially known as Próspera Zede, Z-E-D-E, is a charter city on the island of Roatán. It is one of the 3 zones for employment and economic development. ZEED is the acronym. In the country, operating under a distinct fiscal, legal, and regulatory framework that grants it autonomy from the national government. The project is led by Honduras Próspera Incorporated, which itself is funded by venture capitalists and has a veto vote in Próspera's governing council. Basically, Próspera is its own jurisdiction, and it is funded by venture capitalists. And you can imagine they all kind of, the guys putting money into it, they all have stake in the city. And this concept of a charter city was created by, I believe, Paul Romer. Romer has attempted to replicate the success of charter cities and make them an engine of economic growth in developing countries. And this brings up a strong feeling that people have, which is these charter cities, I guess, venture capital cities are, it's just a neo-colonization. It's colonization 3, non-violent mode. And, what's crazy is the government of Honduras initially was amenable and open to the project, and they greenlit it. And then the government changed over, and they say that you guys need to get the fuck out of here. But it hasn't stopped the city from growing and developing. Now, the part that kind of makes me feel a little bit insane is there's this nonprofit that operates in DC called Charter Cities Institute. And their whole thing, again, as a nonprofit, kind of like OpenAI is a nonprofit. Their whole, if I understand it correctly, sort of ethos and goal is to help people start charter cities. And again, a charter city is it's normally it's funded by outside money, and then they incorporate someone who is local to kind of be the voice of the locals. But ultimately, these charter cities, they have their own rules. For example, Prospera, the tax rates are different. Tax rates in Prospera are set at 1% on business revenue, 5% on wages, and 2.5% on sales tax. There's also a 5% personal income tax. Bitcoin is recognized as legal tender within the city. They also, kind of create their own laws. And I believe in Paul Romer, in his idea, in his framing of it, a charter city can, facilitate economic growth. It can also be a way to attract business and promote business innovation by creating a place for a business to operate where the taxes are lower and maybe they have, more dry cash to experiment and research and whatever, the sort of theory kind of spiders out from there. His exact nuanced views of how a charter city can benefit maybe a country, I don't think are even terribly relevant, because it, as with anything, when you're playing in this level of money, you can imagine that it just creates winners and losers, and ultimately, what does it really solve? Highly questionable. Maybe it works in isolated instances. That's not really what I'm looking to talk about. I'm not so interested in hashing out the success rate of charter cities. I'm just more trying to identify them as a concept and what seems to be driving them. If you go to this Charter Cities Institute websites, they talk about these economic zones where you can develop charter cities, and they call out techno-libertarians as being influential in developing a vision of new city and development with seasteading. What I think transhumanism and this charter city and all this kind of, I guess, signals to me as a person is there is a financial interest in getting away from what human beings are, and then getting away from what societies we have created. A charter city is absurd to me in that a bunch of people, through whatever nasty little capitalist moves and tax evasion and stuff, they kind of, they take all this capital from people, and then they use that to create an escape pod on land. And the other more perverse vision of getting off to another planet so the shit can burn up and they can watch it all disappear. Even trying to get away from the human condition and eroding the human condition by way of sort of transhumanism. That's the problem I have with transhumanism, is I think it is very much pushing to get away from the human condition. And people could say the human condition is war and murder and bad stuff. And yeah, maybe that is true, but I don't know if we were designed to be computers, right? And it all weirdly is if I could borrow from the fucking Warhammer 40K universe, it's the Necrons. That's basically what we're doing. The Necrons used to be humanoid people and then kind of immortalized themselves through technology, and now they are completely unrecognizable to what they once were. They're just this machine race that woke up and is coming back with a vengeance. It's I think this idea of transhumanism it just feels like it's permeating everything. And maybe I'm being a bit of a schizo here, but even this new show Pluribus is kind of I don't know what the show is commentating on yet, but to me it does speak, or it does point out the sort of homogenization of everything that we're seeing. There's a lot of books now about the flattening of our culture with because of algorithms, and how everyone is kind of the same person and everyone's losing accents. And I guess I just feel that we're in this very, very crazy moment where I think believing it, if you're buying into some more grounded narratives like AI is a bubble and AI doesn't do anything, and even this fucking AI robot that we were talking about a couple videos ago, it's being piloted by people remotely. It doesn't actually do what it's supposed to do. it brings up this question, like, is that cope? Is that sticking your head in the sand? Or are we actually going to this place where, very tangibly, people are going to start to modify their babies genetically, and then ultimately, do we create the Apple and iPhone dichotomy of the human condition, where my parents paid for me to be genetically better off, and they injected a fucking DNA programming from basketball players to make me tall, dark, and handsome. And I have no bionics in my body. And then is the Android version literally being an Android, or the poorest version being, well, we couldn't afford to extend my life with a body, so I just had to go in the server. Do we create some fucking crazy structure of society where you're in the server living in a in a Netflix film where you're going, one day I hope to get enough crypto so I can buy a body and get out of here for good. Now, is it productive to know that billionaires are chartering cities around the world, and transhumanism is just like at least a talking point in culture? I actually do think it is, because I've read basically about this idea of like fucking corporate driven city states. And I've brought it up before, but if they're able to do this stuff in another country where there's kind of like the dry run for it, maybe, do they start they being like the money guys? That's who they is to me, the money guys. The billionaire, bro. Do the billionaires bankrupt the country, get all these hospitals shut down, put people in pure fucking pain, so they can come in there like an abuser, like the king, and go, I will take my billions, and I will save Kansas City. Me, Larry Ellison, I have purchased Kansas City, and I'll be implementing it, and we're now calling it Oracle City. We're going to install a giant key charger under the entire city so your phone will always be on. And, I don't know what else Larry Ellison wants to do in Oracle City, but I do wonder if these concepts become very, very real and in our culture. I'm just picturing a world where the little petty things we do, you think back 10 years ago when having an iPhone was a flex, and the whole concept of flexing on each other, because you don't see, I feel like that's not as celebrated these days, and I think back in the day, someone could boss up and get some money, and now people are going, you know what, man, fuck you. You don't see as many. I just bought a blank YouTube video. YouTube videos, plural, excuse me. Just keeping in the theme of the show, I sort of wanted to bring these concepts forward because I do think there's a very real possibility that we end up in these weird situations where more and more corporations and tech companies and such they're going to get their little fingers a little bit deeper in society than just the phone. And will they start owning aspects of government? It remains to be seen. Ultimately, I just think it's an interesting idea that one day our government, instead of taking the lobbyist money under the table, now it's out in the open. These motherfuckers. Well, we got T-Mobile City, Google City, Verizon City, all that shit, man. When corporations start owning all the cities, I'll tell you, I want to go live in Orange Theory City. That's where I want to go live. I want to just live in a giant Orange Theory class for the rest of my life. Gang, next week I'm really focused on filming my special. Videos will be a little bit slower going up to Thanksgiving. I'm still going to be uploading just, it might be 1 a week instead of 2 a week. We're going to see what's up. I'll try to hit 2 a week if I can. Once the tour is wrapped, I can say that I only have a few performance dates next year, and I'm even questioning if I'm going to do those. So definitely going to be focused a lot on the channel for the next year, and I'm really stoked about that. So eager to get this special out. I'll be putting out the special on YouTube here. I don't know when. I think I might do early December, but maybe I'll wait. That's kind of the, I just want y'all to know what I kind of got going on. So if you see the upload slow down a little bit, now you know. Anyways, guys, I will see you on the next one. Thanks for listening. As always, goodbye.